Good Monday morning, everybody, and welcome back to yet another Agent Call review. I am graced with Chris's presence again this week, and we're going to go over a second call. As I go through every single call review, this is very important for you guys to have your mentor do this for you. You need to know what you're doing right and wrong in order to always consistently do what's right. So don't forget, we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence isn't an act, it's a habit. Okay. Do me a favor, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and let me know where maybe you guys struggled down in the comments, what you guys thought of the call, maybe some really key nuggets that you pulled out. All right, guys, let's get this party started.
How you doing, Dan?
Dad, what's up?
Hey, it's Chris, the insurance guy. I didn't know if
Yeah.
you knew who it was.
Yeah.
You got a minute?
Yep. Go ahead.
Cool. Do you have any? Are you adding to what you have, or you don't have insurance at the moment?
We still got insurance to the end of December, or the middle of December. I forget when it is cutoff date.
Okay, it's term.
Yeah.
Okay. How much term do you have?
150,000 on me and 50,000 on my wife.
Okay, so you're looking for, just so you understand, you don't want term again, right?
No, one whole life.
Yeah, because I don't do term. I only do whole life. And just to give you so some people that had term, their expectations. I'm not saying this is you, but their expectations are, I need the same amount that I had in term, and it's not going to be nearly the same cost. I just hope you understand that.
No, I don't want the same amount that I had in term.
Okay, cool. All right.
So,
How much are you looking for?
we wanted enough to actually cover expenses.
Okay. And how much would that be?
I don't know. It depends on how much your insurance is.
It goes up. Well,
huh?
Yeah, we can do multiple policies, right? Most final expense or burial insurance, as they call it, it's whole life insurance, like any other whole life, but they put caps on it, right? So, 35,000 is the cap for most insurance companies. A lot of them are lower than that. But we can do multiple policies to get you to 50 grand or whatever you're looking for. It's just a matter of It's just a matter of what your budget is. The budget is the most important thing in my mind, because I'm a broker and I don't push any particular company. Just so you know, I look at everything in the state of North Carolina. I'm licensed in probably 40 states now, and right on my computer I see everything. So, and I don't get paid by the insurance company unless you keep your policy for a certain period of time. So it's only in my best interest to get you the best rate, but more importantly, that really fits your budget. Does that all make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, I know what you're trying to do. It's not a problem.
Yeah, just trying to get you a policy that makes sense for you and that you keep. It's really that simple.
I can tell you got all my information, don't you?
Not really, no. I don't have your date of birth. All I have is your beneficiary, your email, and your phone number.
How about, do you have any other information?
No, the only information I have is beneficiary. I mean, I don't have anything other than that.
All right. So what do you need to get us a price?
Well, yep. We're talking about you first, correct? Or you?
No matter. I can give it to you. Start with.
All right. Hold on one second. Let me get to North Carolina. What's her date of birth?
Okay, so let's take a quick pause there and talk about a couple different things. So the start of the call, have you talked to this guy before this particular recording?
I think I had, and I knew. I don't remember 100%. Or he left a voicemail for me, something like that, where I knew his style. Like he's kind of a matter of fact type of guy. So that's why I was talking the way I was talking with him as opposed to being different.
Yeah. Yeah. And I totally I understand where you're coming from. Obviously, the call doesn't wind up going the way you wanted to where just
No, it definitely didn't. No.
we talked about just to give everybody a little bit of insight. He does not get the sale, and he actually winds up getting a text from the guy that he went with somebody else. Now, just to kind of go over some of the things, and Chris already knows, I'm not here to try and beat him up in any way. We just want to go over some areas. He knows that, there are certain areas where he could have done better, and the wild thing is Chris says that he gets into a long conversation, or that the guy gets to talking a whole bunch about different things. If he were just to send me this first 5 minute clip and ask me how long was the call, I'd say it lasted about 10 minutes, because the dude he sounds, I'll say it nicely, he sounds rude. And
Yeah, he didn't
I can
want to
see where
talk.
you'd
Yeah.
say he's matter of fact, but
Yeah.
I I'll tell you exactly what I think. It's less matter of fact, and I think it's more he feels like you're going to try and sell him something, and so
Yeah,
he brought it.
could be. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's this is a perfect example of why you need to follow the details in the script, and make sure that you're getting all the points. It's okay to know some of this, talking about the term situation, and maybe he sent you a text message telling you exactly what he had and what he was looking for, right?
Yeah,
But
and he never did, by the way. Though I think he
okay.
confused me with somebody else.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with all those things in mind, even if you do have the information, even if they tell you exactly what they have and what they're looking for, you still need to go through the process of making sure you've got the right things. One of the things that you asked right out the gate is, you got time? Right?
Yeah, I
You
know.
just
I
got
know.
it's the typical, you got to assume, look, you picked up the phone, of course you've got time, right?
I let
Um,
him dictate. I let him dictate the terms of the conversation.
yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Um, so the other thing, the other thing I've had a couple agents do is they talk about what they can't do, right? You were talking about term, and yeah. So this is going to be whole life. I can't do any term. Don't ever talk
Yeah.
about what you can't do. I mean, in all technicality, you can do term all day if you want.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so one, that's definitely not the case. But two, it's not good to talk about what you can't do. Focus on what you can do, which is solve their problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And with a guy like this, honestly, I would see myself getting to quote within 10 minutes, and not taking my time going through the script, in other words, with a guy like this. Because
Right.
yeah, I don't disagree. He is very matter of fact, but I can also tell that he's got a lot of sales resistance. He seems like he's tired of talking to people who's trying to sell him something. And look, just get to the quote.
Yeah.
Just give me the price.
And
Um,
one thing that I found in hindsight now is that he told me about his career, and he ran a construction company that did really big projects. And so I think that he's like, I'm a business guy. I know what you're trying to do.
mhm.
Remember when he said that?
Yep.
I know what salespeople do, so let's not even get into that. Give
Yeah.
me and then he said, "You got my info, right? So
Yeah.
don't give me the BS. Let's
Yeah.
get to it."
Yeah.
And I went along with that.
And I will say, this is where the confidence comes in, is have the confidence of, I mean, I don't have anything right. I don't have all your information right now, but we can sure get to that. I'm more than happy. You know what I mean? Like there's a couple different ways that you can go about that.
Yeah.
You were like, well, I've got this and I've got that. So his confidence, the way it comes off, it seemed like his confidence was bringing yours down. And so you were kind of like, yeah, well, I'm sorry, Mr. Sir. I mean, I don't have this, and no, I don't have that, and I don't have anything of your wife's, like
Yeah, yeah. He caught me off guard,
yeah.
and that's what he caught me off guard. I didn't really know what to say. So I was
Yep.
trying to play Well, what do I have?
Right.
Yeah, I didn't expect him to approach the conversation that way. So,
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And again, I totally get it, right? It's just, for future reference, a guy like this, you know that you've got the way I do it. I think that's a better way to put it is I convince myself is I just continually tell myself I've got a job to do.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I don't care what you want. I'd much rather you hang up on me than to tell me what to do. And then I get you the wrong thing because you thought you knew what you wanted, even though
Hmm.
you don't know crap about what you're talking about.
Follow your process, right?
Yeah. I like to think of it as whenever it comes to a mechanic. If you don't know how to change a tire, you're not gonna you're not gonna go in there and tell them how to do everything, how to do their job. And if you do, you're likely to wind up with a flat tire if you
Yeah,
try to if you don't know
yeah,
what the hell you're talking about. So
right, right.
and that's the frame of mind that I have with people like this. Look, and if you don't want my help, some people, it just doesn't matter what you do. You're not going
Yeah,
to convince them that you're truly trying to help them, and that's okay.
yeah.
Just
And
move on.
he, as a now that I'm remembering another part of the conversation, he talks about how he wants to get licensed to sell insurance, how he's got friends in the insurance business. So it all kind of goes into his attitude toward me.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
I know what you do already, pal.
And,
So
and
let's
here's another
let
thing that I will tell you. If he starts talking about, like, I don't know how many times
then why
I've
don't
run
you go to
into.
them? Why don't you
That's
go?
exactly it. So tell me, Chris. I mean, what exactly makes you want to go on Facebook and try to find insurance if you're so
Right,
highly connected, right? Like almost be a
right.
little condescending with it,
Yeah,
Like if
yeah.
you're so special, buddy, you just go do it your damn self, you know?
Yeah, I wish I could have said a lot of things if I went back. Yeah. Not that he's a
And
bad guy. He wasn't a
yeah,
bad guy. It's
yeah.
just you could tell he has an attitude, you know.
Yes. Yes. And
Yeah.
and that's and again, that's where you come in as the professional of look, I've got a job to do. I mean, you've heard Cody say it many times. Look, do you want my help? Do you actually want to get coverage? Yes. Okay. If you want my help, there is a process. If you want to get the right price or the best price and you want to make sure you get the coverage that you want, then there is a process to get that accomplished. And
Yeah.
the question is, do you want to go through that process or is it not
Or
important enough
not.
to you?
Yeah,
Eh,
he would have I've seen him easily get through that by controlling no matter who it is,
Yeah.
by
Yep.
controlling the conversation.
Yep. That's
Like
exactly right.
not afraid to get a little confrontational, challenging that person. Like, look, either you want my help or not. I have a process to follow to get you the best quote. You know, either we do that or we don't.
And for everybody listening, that is confidence. That's where that comes from.
Right.
That's why
Yeah.
he is that way because he is truly trying to help somebody. And if you
Yeah.
again, both Cody and I are very confident whenever it comes to talking to people because it's we know we're trying to do the best for you. We know we're trying to help you. And
Right.
if you don't like it, then we don't care, right? Go
And
somewhere
right,
else.
you're not a. They get the feeling like you're not afraid to say see you later.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
there's no
exactly.
desperation. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. Yep, and sometimes you just get a good feeling whenever you tell somebody, "Yeah, I'm sorry, I just don't think we're a good fit,"
Right.
because
Right. They don't
then
expect it. Right.
yeah, exactly, and then they're kind of like, "Oh, well, man." Sometimes they think you're just rude, but
Yeah.
sometimes they really start to question themselves,
You're
So
like, wait a minute. What? Hold on a second. What do you mean we're not a good fit?
right, right.
Yeah.
Let's listen to just a little bit more of it here.
All right. God, please. Okay. And her approximate height and weight.
She be
Health questions that I ask. And the main reason for this is I don't know if you're familiar. All right. That's fine. And talk to me about her health. I'm going to quickly go through the basic health questions that I ask. And the main reason for this is I don't know if you're familiar, but all these insurance companies pull data from the MIB medical Information Bureau. It's a prescription database like a credit check. That takes about 15 seconds, and we'll know what class of insurance they put your wife in, and that will determine the premium. I mean, it's pretty simple. I'm no brain surgeon. It's pretty simple stuff. Even I can understand it. So,
Okay.
talk to me about. And
Do you hear him
What's
laughing in the
that?
background?
I was going to point that out.
Prescription.
I didn't hear.
Tax one.
Oh,
Tax.
okay.
Yeah, I
And then,
don't know.
Like anxiety or something.
He calls it her crazy pill, but she's not crazy. She had a thyroid acid. She takes.
Exactly what I always ask. Who the hell comes up with these names?
Yeah.
So talk to me about, do you want to talk budget? I can look by your budget, or I can look by the amount of insurance. It doesn't matter to me. I mean, are we talking about 10 grand, 20 grand, 30? What are we talking about?
I'd say I'd ask her, but probably I don't know what she's decided, but I'd say 10 to 25.
All right, so I'll do a range. I'll do 10, 15.
Okay, so I think overall we've heard quite a bit here that the things that I would point out is when it comes to like you pointed out, this guy is laughing, right?
Yeah, like what? And I have no idea. I don't think he's laughing at what I'm saying. Maybe he's laughing at. But I honestly don't know. I don't know.
I'll tell you, he's laughing at the process because he thinks, but by all the things that you were saying, you weren't saying it confidently, and you were kind of rambling on it a little bit.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
so he's laughing because he's thinking in his head, I know what this guy's doing, so he's just laughing at what
Oh,
you're saying.
like he knows. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. He doesn't know. I can tell by this guy, he doesn't really know all the details, but he thinks he
Mhm.
does. He's
Yeah.
definitely a
Yeah.
little bit of a know-it-all.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the other thing that I'll add is again, you're kind of letting him push you around by saying, well, do you want to go by budget, or do you want to go by
Right.
how much
Right. I'm
coverage?
letting him lead where he wants to go.
And
Yeah.
this is a perfect area where you could have reined everything back in, right? You
Yeah.
could have
Yeah.
grabbed a hold of it and taken the reins again, by
Mhm.
saying, okay, look, it's important that you go by your budget. Do you have any idea what your budget is? And in this case, he says, well, I don't know what she wants, but I would say somewhere around 20 to 25. If you can't get a solid answer, if
Yeah.
this guy can't tell you either what his budget is or how much coverage that they have to have, because some of these
Mhm.
people think, well, if I can't get 20,000, then this is just stupid. Obviously, we know that. Let's say that's just stupid.
Yeah. Yeah.
But uh, when it comes to figuring out exactly what they have, and he can't tell you, you
Mhm.
need to get concrete answers. That's another reason why you lost it, because you probably set this guy up to ask all the right questions to Joe Schmo, the next agent, right? And
God, it was
so,
such a bad call.
and look,
God.
look, I honestly don't take it as such a terrible call, right? I hear why you kind of went in the direction that you did, and that happens, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes you think you've got somebody figured out, and you kind of make assumptions or whatever, and then it goes the wrong way. So
Yeah. I thought I had him figured out.
again, I don't think it's that terrible, but again, if you can learn from this, I mean, that is huge. Make sure that, in this case, get concrete answers. It's one thing for somebody to say, well, I just want a quote. Okay.
Mhm.
So, I just want to quote for 30,000. Just tell me what 30,000 is. It's one thing to jump to quote and just throw them something out there. But when you ask them, well, do you want budget? Do you want how much coverage? And then you give him a range of options and he still doesn't know, bro, you need to get in the game. You and your wife need to get on the
Yeah.
same page. Because here's the thing. If he doesn't know how much coverage she wants, then how in the hell are you going to present it to her, or is he going to present it to her?
I think he was fishing he was talking to multiple people, and most of them do.
Yeah.
I mean, they're fishing and whatever, and I let him control it. And
Yep.
there was probably somebody else that came after me that may have talked. Now that I look back, I think I should have said, well, why don't we set? I could have stopped it way early and said, why don't we set up a time where I can talk to you and your wife at the same time? Because I feel like that was an
Was she not
excuse
home
for
or
him.
something?
No, she wasn't around. Supposedly
Yes.
wasn't there. So
Yes.
I had that in my mind early on in the conversation to say, you know what, let's figure out a time when both of you are there. I don't want to waste your time and mine. And I should have, and who knows, you know.
A
But
hundred
anyway,
percent. I would a
yeah,
1000% agree with that. So one way that you can kind of test the waters, whether or not that's a good idea or not, is when you hear that they want coverage for the both of them. Okay, so Chris, is it a thing where you make all the decisions, or you're like trying to gather information so that way or you're still trying to figure things out so you and your wife can discuss it? When
right,
he says, well, we're just trying to figure things out to discuss it. Okay, so let's set a time where you and I can both, all three of us can sit together, and then we're not
right,
playing a
right.
game of telephone, right? Like
And
you're
if he
saying.
doesn't want to do that, that tells you what the deal is right there.
Yeah. Yeah, that tells you he's
Yeah,
just going to waste your time like you did. So
yeah,
for the
because
record,
yeah,
this was a 48-minute and 37-second call.
waste of time
Yes, yes. And
because she's making the decision.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
who's making the
and not
decision.
only is she making the decision, but the worst part about this is a call that probably could have been less than 10 minutes. Now you've
Easily.
got almost 40 minutes where you're not going to get those 40 minutes back to talk to somebody else. So
Yeah,
that's the
right.
frame of mind that you got to have. Why it's important to be efficient with who you're talking to. And not all the time will you have it 100% right. Sometimes you might wind up kind of letting somebody go to find out that they wound up getting coverage somewhere else. And that's okay. It's a whole lot better to be wrong rarely than to be wrong all the time and you talk to 10 different people who waste 50 minutes of your day.
Yeah,
So,
and in my opinion, this call is more important to me in terms of learning than the other one that we did where it was a sale.
mhm.
Because I'll learn way the other one was a lady allowed me to go through the script and didn't, this one was the one where I can really learn from.
Yep, without a doubt. Look,
15 and 20, and then we can go up to 25, right? I mean,
That's fine.
let's see what we can do here. All right, let's look at, so $52 it looks like for 10 grand. Let's do a comparison.
$52 for
10,
her.
yeah, for 10,000.
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
Let's see.
Yeah, and I don't know what he means by that.
I'll give you a
That's,
range now.
maybe it's too much, he's thinking.
I need to be.
That's what I.
understand. You're going to email it to me.
yeah, so immediately that's where my mind went is he is
Too
saying
much.
$50 for 10 grand. Yeah, he's already thinking that you're too high, right?
And
Like that,
he's used to term. He's used to the huge number
yeah.
and the little amount in term.
Yes, yes. And
So
that's where you need to ask the question. So is that a problem? Right? Like just flat out ask him. So is that a problem? And
yeah,
and
I should have.
when he says, well, yeah, I mean that's not hardly any coverage. Okay, so you're 75. What exactly were you expecting to get? It's as simple as that, right?
Yeah.
And what I love to tell people in this case is look, if we had a time machine, we can go back in time and we can fix all this. But hindsight's always 2020. Only thing you can do is move forward on the knowledge that you have now.
Yep. Yep.
Right. Another kind of direction that you could have went is potentially talking about fully underwritten. But again, I don't even want to bring that situation up in this case because it's likely that he was a suspect from the beginning, is essentially the way it sounds.
Okay. Could have been. Yeah, could have been.
So
And he's asking for an email. That's a red flag. I mean, email.
yeah,
Come on.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Please.
we don't email it. I mean, if you want to write it down on a, just, or I could text it to you. You know what I
So that was another thing too that I noticed was you didn't actually have him get a pen and piece of paper out. Again, more
Right.
control that he has by you telling him to get a pen and piece of paper. That puts control in your favor. And
Right, right,
so if you told him that, then he probably wouldn't have asked for the email, right? So,
right.
Know what I mean?
No, I'll write it.
So
Well, you text it to me. That'll work.
I'll text it to you. Yeah, 10 grand is $52. 15 grand is 77. 20 grand is 102.
Yeah, that's
So,
good. That's those three numbers. I'll go over those with her when she gets home about 3:30.
yep. And again, no rush. I've been around the block, man. I don't like being pressured by people, so I don't do that. So don't think that I'm going
I
to be
shouldn't
a
have brought
dick
any of
because
this
I'm not
up.
going to do that to you. Look, if you want to do insurance with me, you'll call me back or something like that, or I can follow up with you. But just so you know, I'm not going to be a used car salesman to you. So out of these three numbers, do you have an idea? Because I don't know what your budget is. I don't know what you guys want to spend on insurance.
Well, I'd say your numbers were what? 25 or 10, 25?
Yeah, 10,000 for $52, 15,000 for 77, 20 grand for 102.
Probably the middle one. 15,000.
So the 15 for 77. Okay. And
Yeah.
do you want to take a look at you real quick? You might as well have both.
Yeah.
All right. 15K.
all right, so we'll
What
stop it there.
one thing that's interesting is I thought that when he said 54 for 10, he acted like it was a lot, but then he went to 15. So maybe it was the opposite. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't
And
know.
again, you don't know
I
what you don't know unless you ask, right?
right. I didn't. The whole thing was a debacle.
Yeah. And again, man, it absolutely happens. I mean, sometimes I look back at calls and I'm like, why did I do this or why didn't I say that?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
sometimes you just have bad days, but at least what I always like to say, man, is if you're trying to fix mistakes, then you're always moving forward.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so that's what's most important. So it really isn't the end of the world. I don't think it's just god awful. I definitely wouldn't recommend you go and beat yourself up over it. So, but
Yeah, I'm good with it. When you rehearse it, you look back, you're like, oh man.
yeah, and again, that's why I like to do these things, especially with you on the call, is so that way you can hear kind of what's going on, and
Yeah.
you know what to avoid and what not to say. So,
It's
um,
not easy listening to yourself because I don't
yeah,
do it much.
yeah,
It's not, but it's a
yeah.
good learning experience for
Yeah.
sure.
And if you do it more and more, it really makes a huge difference in how you're reacting and everything. And yeah, again, sometimes you say, you can say things and you think that came out perfect, and then you go back and listen to it, and you're like, oh my gosh, that was awful. I should never say that again, you know. But
The
if you
whole,
didn't listen to it,
yeah,
you would do it over and over and over again until you finally realize that that's why they're hanging up on you, you know.
the
So
whole thing with I tend to sometimes, not all the time, over explain that I'm not the pushy salesman.
yeah. Yeah,
And then
and
when I
look,
hear it, I'm like, oh God.
I take the frame of mind. So perfect perfect thing on that is my frame of mind when I'm talking to somebody is I'm going to show them what I can do and not tell them.
Yeah,
That's how
right.
that's what the script is designed for, is to
Yeah,
show
yeah,
them what you can do, not tell them, right?
yeah,
Because a lot of scripts are, oh, Chris, so I am a licensed broker in 40 states and I can do this and I can do that and I will do everything for you and I'm amazing. And guess what I did yesterday for a client? Guess what I'm going to do tomorrow for a client? And whenever I took care of my grandma, I'm going to do this and I'm going to treat you this and I'm going to do that. It's this big long script of what you can do, how much you can do
yeah.
for them. They don't really care. They
Not at
want to see
all.
the proof, you know?
They just
Uh,
want you to stop talking so much.
yes, exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly. So,
yeah.
and again, I totally get that you understand all of that. And that's a good thing, you know? Um, like I said, it's you want to avoid them taking control of the call. Like in this case, this guy completely dominated you, you know.
Oh, totally. Yeah, he beat me.
So yes, but you're okay with understanding that, and that's how you get better. That's why I always tell everybody you need to have your mentor listen to your calls and
Yep.
listen to your calls with your mentor. These little things, you know, other than listening to you live, like while you're in the middle of the call, other than
Mhm.
doing it that way, there's no better way to get better than to listen to your call with your mentor. So,
I
with that
agree.
said,
Very
guys,
helpful.
yes, yes. With that said, guys, we'll go ahead and cut it off here. Don't beat Chris up too much. Again, he knows what he did wrong. That's why we love him. He's constantly working to make things better and get better, and he really is. He's really improved. So, with that said, guys, again, do me a favor, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell down below. Drop some love down in the comments for Chris. Let him know that you guys love him. Poor guy just got beat up. So definitely let him know that he's okay. See you guys in the next one.